ground to get going.
Yeah.
What, other than obvious challenges because of the thematic material, what
Mhm.
slowed this project down, and how did it happen now?
Well, when we first, our first iteration of the movie was, I don't even know exactly what year. Brian seems to think it was like 2007, maybe. Whatever year the Watchmen came out. That's the gist of it. When we first started talking about doing it, Brian wrote the script. We let the home video people know that this is kind of a special case. It's a famous comic. It's a very notorious comic. If we do it, there's a chance that it might be R-rated. Are they going to be okay with that? And the home video people said yes, reluctantly. We are okay with that. And later that year, the Watchmen movie came out and kind of underperformed, and everybody kind of took a second look at it and thought, well, maybe this is not the time to do an R-rated superhero movie. So we put it on the shelf. A couple years later, we revisited it. Home video people said, yeah, okay, let's do it this time. Go. We actually started designing it, storyboarding it, and then the shooting in Aurora happened, which was a horrible tragedy. And everybody looked at it and said, okay, Batman and gun violence, it's kind of hitting too close to home right now. This is not the time. So we shelved it again. And both times honestly, I kind of sighed with relief because I was always kind of dreading doing this movie. And so then a couple years later, we said, okay, let's do The Killing Joke again. And at that point, we said, okay, because initially, the comic is so short, it's not really long enough to make a feature film out of. And Brian's script wasn't feature length. The home video people said, yeah, we'll just do it as a short movie. We'll do it like a 30-minute or a 35-minute movie, adjust the price point or whatever so people don't feel ripped off. But this last time we put it out on the floor, we said, you know what, let's expand it to feature film length, and we'll use that screen time to kind of fix one of the things about the comic that has always bothered me, in that Barbara in the original comic is kind of just a victim. She's basically there to be wounded so that Commissioner Gordon and the other male character, Batman, can be all pissed off and swear revenge. So, not that this completely mitigates that, but to me it made the movie more palatable to spend more time with Barbara in the story before the Killing Joke happens. So, it's probably a lot more answer than you expected, wasn't it?
No, great. Bruce, you mentioned the fact that it's a little bit more of a mature story,
Yeah.
and that you had talked about that with the other powers that be. Do you feel that that's, or how do you feel that fits in as far as fleshing out what comics can do that just are going to be at different levels for all people, different styles of adaptation?
Well, I'm kind of two minds about it. I I felt a little weird when we got the R rating and the actual rating from the MPAA, and then the home video people said, okay, let's do it. On one hand, it was like, okay, it's kind of cool. We kind of crossed that threshold. And the other part of me was like, oh man, that's kind of sad. I kind of feel like it's weird. I finally made a Batman movie that little kids should not see. But in a way, it's kind of okay because they do have alternatives. You know, there are other things that are more age appropriate. Batman, you know, in the comics and in the movies, and you know, cartoons and TV shows and toys. So, but it did feel a little bit weird. So.
Despite the fact that it's mature and this is a benchmark for superhero animation, isn't it a little ironic because really it seems like the comedic stuff has been easier to get on television anyways, Brave and the Bold.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
And,
definitely.
the Teen Titans, the more edgy, mature versions, it seems like, what's your read on why can't we get more serious stuff even that's not rated R serious?
You know, that would be a question that you'd better ask the TV executive. I have no good answer for you. I could speculate, but I don't know.
As far as adding more Barbara Gordon to the story, Batgirl, how tough was that to add this bigger layer onto something that, you know, everybody's read, everybody grew up with, it's a best-selling thing?
What's interesting about it is that knowing that would be a possible issue for certain people, we designed the movie in such a way that if you really are only interested in seeing The Killing Joke, if you're really that much of a purist, the movie is designed in such a way that you can go to chapter 5 and hit play, and you will skip the entire first half of the movie, just watch the Killing Joke part, and you're good. It's a clear break. It's not like completely integrated. It's almost like literally two different movies sandwiched together. So, having said that, I hope that people do watch the first part of it because I'm very proud of it. I really enjoy the first half of the movie. Weirdly enough, almost as much as I enjoy the second half of the movie. So I think Tara's great in it. I think Kevin's awesome in it. And Brian wrote a really great script. So I'm very proud of it. So we'll see.
Were Kevin and Mark Hamill always in the cards for this movie, or?
Well, Mark has very publicly said many, many times that he would only come back and play the Joker if it was the Killing Joke. And I think that was just his way of sending a message to us that if we ever did the Killing Joke, that we would be in a lot of trouble if we didn't hire him. So, mission accomplished, Mark. But it was great. I mean, he would obviously be our first choice anyways. And then once, we figured, hey, having said that, chances are if we offered him the part, he'd probably say yes. So, and then once he was signed on, it was like, well, okay, then it'd be really weird to have him as Joker if we didn't have Kevin as Batman. So that made that an easy sell. And then it's like, okay, well, who's going to play Batgirl? Well, I guess it better be Tara Strong then, shouldn't it? So it kind of like everything just kind of fell into place. And it's like, I'm always delighted anytime I can work with any of those guys. Kevin's always my number one choice for any Batman project. So, yeah.
So
Go ahead.
at the core of it, why did you pick up this story? Why did you work on the project? Was it something particular about the story that drew you in, or have you always wanted to do?
I have not always wanted to do it. I have always kind of not wanted to do it. I admire the comic enormously. I respect it. I don't really love it. I've never loved it. It's not my favorite Alan Moore comic. I think Brian Bolland's artwork is phenomenal. That to me still holds up. And there's even things in that Alan wrote in the story that I think are amazing as well. But there are certain things about it that I have always just rubbed me the wrong way, and for like weirdly personal reasons. I mean, specifically the way Batgirl's treated. I think even Alan Moore himself has said that he kind of regrets, those aspects of the Killing Joke. So for those reasons. But when it came down to doing it, it was just kind of like, well, I could say no, and then somebody else would do it, and that would probably be okay, and just pass the buck. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's kind of a challenge. It's like, well, can I take this material that I don't love, but could I turn it into a movie that I love without like putting my own stamp on it? And that was my own personal challenge, and you guys will be the judge whether I pulled it off or not.
So I'm curious, you mentioned Brian Bolland's artwork in the original comic, and it's very different, obviously, from the animated series style. Did you make an attempt to kind of resonate that material in this?
He's done.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
I don't have a short answer for that one.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you so much.